They are closing the gap as every season goes on. The squad is there, just add a few more players and add a bit more depth. Arteta's built this side, he has to take them to glory in the next few seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Own YouTube channel and welcome to our first team recap from the Premier League season, which is Arsenal. And it was a fantastic season for Arsenal. I don't know if the fans will take that. They won a trophy, but they went all the way, hammer and tongs, with Manchester City, and in many ways fought off Liverpool as well as the season went on. Come the midpoint of the season, I wasn't sure if they would be the ones to keep going, but they showed once again they developed their game. They've got even closer to Man City in many regards in the way they took them all the way to the end, took them all the way to the final day this season, and they showed a lot more character, a lot more fight. We've seen some great performance in the Champions League, and I feel like it's another small step in the right direction. Coming as an outsider's point of view and not a fan's point of view, it looked at times that it could have all fallen apart, but they stuck with it. One of the best defences in the league, one of the best defences in Europe. You've got some superstars all over the park, and I'll go over their goals next season a little bit, but it seems to be all built in the right direction. The squad is built out quite well, add a few pieces here and there, and now you sort of go for it and just got to keep challenging City and wait for them to slip up, because this season was fantastic in many regards. Despite leaving it with no trophies, it's a lot of progression from last season. Let's look at their season record. They finished with 28 wins in the league, the 5 draws and 5 losses, ending on 89 points, only 2 points behind Manchester City and second in the Premier League. Best signing of the season for me has to be Declan Rice. The £100 million signing was huge. Big moments, crucial moments in games, a leader in the park, and so important in that midfield area of the park. Ended with the 7 goals, the 8 assists, some massive goals. Think at the one against Manchester United to certifiably win that game at home. The late goal versus Luton, and continually really being a voice in the middle of the park and leading this side. He was having to play the 6 most of the season whilst Thomas Partey was out injured. Once Partey came back through the last month or so, you saw what Declan Rice could do for midfield, be a bit more progressive, get more than number 8 mould and progress forward. And I think going forward next season, if you can get someone who's more fit or even keep Thomas Partey fit alongside him, it'll be fantastic to see him in a more progressive mould and see him take on a lot of defences in the Premier League. I feel like that's where he's at his best. We see the best of Declan Rice in the number 8 role, connecting the game up with Martin Odegaard and plays further forward. So he, for me, is the best signing of the season for Arsenal. The worst signing is a bit harsh. It's going to be Yuri and Timber. Only played 60-odd minutes through the season. Again, I rate him highly as a player. Just unfortunately went down with the ACL injury, and Arsenal didn't really make any bad moves over the season. So he goes down as the worst signing, but very excited to see what he can do next season, because he had some depth to the wing-back position, can play down the middle as well as a centre-half, and a very versatile, very comfortable on the ball type player. And I feel like he'll add another edge to this Arsenal team going forward. So very excited to see, keeping an eye out on Yuri and Timber next season. We go to the moment of the season now. I think for me, it has to be Gabriel Martinelli's 86-minute winner versus Manchester City at the Emirates. That point in the season, it was advantage Arsenal after that result there. You felt like, oh, maybe this season is the year. Dramatic scenes, a 1-0 win, really solid defensively. Yes, it takes a deflection here and there, but what a moment it was for Arsenal fans to almost rejoice. It was a great goal, a huge moment. And it felt like at that early point in the season, Arsenal really, that was a marker. The marker was laid down saying, we're going to be here all season long. We are going to be a strong competitor to you. And we're not going to drop games to you. Last season, they didn't quite get over the line and beat Manchester City. So that was a big step in the right direction. So definitely the moment of the season for me has to be Martinelli's goal against Man City. But there's so many other different occasions with so many other important goals. I think Declan Rice's goal against Luton later on in that game. And you can think about almost the games versus Manchester United, well, Trossard's goal to get an important 1-0 win away from home. So many different moments. But I think for me, the biggest one, the moment of the season for me has to be Gabriel Martinelli's goal versus Manchester City. Talking about the breakout, or I guess in this case, the most improved player for me this season, and it has to be the guy that signed across, Kai Havertz. I was close to putting him in as signing of the season because of how you turn this team around. And I feel like people talk about Odegaard, Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, but I think the difference maker is Trossard and also Kai Havertz. I think Kai Havertz was massive for this season, for this side. He was that X factor. There's someone that could create something out of nothing. A real big-bodied midfielder who can push on, can play the false 9, can play in the 10, can play alongside Declan Rice in midfield. He played a lot of positions this season. I feel like once they got him in that more number 10, sort of number 9 role, they just certified him there towards the back half of the season. We're talking about February and onwards. Probably Arsenal's best player. Goals, goals, goals. Always a threat. and looked like it was converting on more chances than not. And yes, it was a slow start to the season, but fair play to Mikel Arteta for sticking by this guy's side. And he went from someone that couldn't go near a goal at Chelsea to being someone who was playing with so much confidence, being such a threat for Arsenal, and so dangerous as the season came to an end. Ended with the 13 goals, the 7 assists. The 9 goals and the 6 assists in the last 14 Premier League games. So 15 goal contributions in his last 14 Premier League games. So he became a real danger man for Arsenal, even massive in the Champions League as well, with big moments and big plays, smart decision making. And it's almost like he's being refound that confidence. He was just lacking a bit of confidence last season. He's got that with Arteta. I think that's because of that nurturing nature. And definitely, for me, the most improved player. We're talking about seeing what he did back at Chelsea in that Champions League season. This is where we're seeing him back to that level, back to that Leverkusen where he was playing with so much freedom, playing up top, scoring goals, creating for other people around him, and just being a fantastic, talented footballer, which we all know him to be. Coming now to the player of the season. And I feel like it might catch people off guard a bit, but I'm going with Gabriel. And I feel like I've been influenced by Flit on the podcast. He said, he's been the better of the two centre-halves. And for me, when I look at Arsenal this season, I look at their defence. That's what's been so solid. You look at Saliba, you look at Gabriel, and many Arsenal fans will say to you, Gabriel's been the better of the two centre-halves. So he goes down for me as the player of the season, averaging the 7.23 average match rating on SofaScore. It's been such a mistake-free player. I think in the past, when you look at Gabriel, think about mistakes. Those in the early days, the penalties given away, the poor challenges, getting skipped past for fun, poor playing out of the back. But now we're seeing a really solid guy, very good in the air physically, can score goals from set pieces. We know how good Arsenal have been for set pieces this season. And someone that works so well in the combination. You got the Rolls Royce in Saliba, but Gabriel does all the hard work, and you think about Rio Ferdinand and Nemanja Vidic, he says that Vidic type, the hard work, the nitty-gritty, putting his body in the line, making the right challenges and being smart when he does so. And you look at it, 15 clean sheets this season, part of the best back four, possibly in Europe, definitely in the Premier League. He's got the 3.8 ball recoveries a game, 1.3 tackles a game, doesn't really get skipped past. And when you look at his stats, they don't really pop out on the screen because they don't do much defending. But on the ball, some of his on-the-ball stats have been very impressive. And we've seen consistently, he's got more and more comfortable as seasons have gone on with the ball at his feet. And it's something to be very excited for next season because Arsenal, in many regards, are set up. They've got the two centre-backs. They've got the goalkeeper now. Ben White set up at right back. He's fine. I'll get on to what they need to do next season, but maybe a left-back change as well. But you look at midfield as well, it looks pretty settled. Like, you've got the core settled here. They've played now 2 to 3 seasons at the club and challenged for 2 Premier Leagues in back-to-back seasons. These guys are established Premier League footballers, established, high elite level Premier League footballers. And we're talking about everyone under the age of 24, 25. And that's really impressive. He's still a young player. He's still got a lot of development to go in terms of learning from situations. But in terms of a complete footballer, he's put together this season consistent performances throughout the year, has not made many mistakes, has been a leader at the back alongside Saliba, and a goal threat as well. And when they need important goals from set pieces, he's there. 4 goals in the Premier League. So he's done a lot this season. So he stood out for me as the player of the season for me. Many people will say Saka or Odegaard or even Declan Rice or Saliba, but I feel like Gabriel's not talked about enough. And for me, he's the player of the season for Arsenal. That now brings me on to the priorities for Arsenal for next season. And it's really 2 pretty simple things. Got to find a new striker to sit in that number 9 role. Havertz can play there at times, can play a false 9 at times, but you need a real clinical striker. I've seen Isak linked. I wouldn't be surprised if the likes of Benjamin Sesko is linked there as well, Joshua Zertsky as well. These younger strikers that fill that role, that are clinical in front of goal, that are a proper number 9. Because Gabriel Jesus in that sort of false 9 mould does not work for a team like Arsenal who create a lot of chances, but you need someone to put them away. You can't have no centre forward to whip the ball into because we've seen they're great from set pieces. They have great delivery into the box. You've got to have someone who can head home. So I think a player, even like a Benjamin Sesko would be someone I think that'd be really interesting to see. It's very strong in the air, but obviously Alexander Isak is the guy, but you're looking to pay probably 100, 120 million because you're paying from a direct rival, Newcastle, and a team that's looking to build around that player. So that's going to be a big signing if they can get that across. I think a Sesko, I think an Alexander Isak. Joshua Zertsky will be interesting, not as solid in the air, but a great hold-up and interplay striker. So interesting to see. He's probably too close to Jesus for my liking, but these are the strikers' names have been floated around. You just got to get a proper number 9 this season. Someone that can put the ball in the back of the net, score you 15, 12 goals in the Premier League season. If you add that to this side as well, alongside what Saka does, Odegaard does, what Declan Rice can do for midfield, what's stopping Arsenal? That's the missing link. That's what Man City added with Haaland. That's what Arsenal need to add now with a new striker. And then secondly, a bit of fullback depth or a new starting fullback. Yuri Timber should slide in at left back. You've got Ben White at right back, but you'd like a more progressive either right back or some adding left back depth behind Yuri and Timber. I think Alexander Zinchenko, it's time for him to go. Not quite the player we expected or want from him. And I feel like this season we saw his weaknesses, wasn't quite solid enough as the season went on. A lot of mistake prone, got torn apart by Mo Salah. So you had a left back quality in there. You maybe had even another right back as well to upgrade on Jakob Kiwi or even upgrade on Tommy Asu. He's been fantastic this season. But if you want to take that next step, you want to be the Man City type, you've got to have depth all over the park. So maybe some more quality fullback to add into there as well. And that's basically it. You get a new striker, you get some fullback depth and fullback quality. You got to go now. You're set. Head down now. Push again next season. And you're just going to wait to see if Man City can slip up at any point in time. It's really now just unfortunate going against a Pep Guardiola Man City team that just doesn't make many mistakes. This season, they're great. I've given them, in terms of my season grade for them, an A. It's not an A+ because they didn't win a trophy or win the Premier League, but there's not much else they could have done. You know, you only get the 5 losses. The 2 come to Villa, home and away. The West Ham result's tough as well at home. Fulham was away as well. I think the season was defined by that loss against Aston Villa where, again, a lot of chances, early on, Aston Villa grew into the game. If you have a number 9 that can put the ball in the back of the net, can create something from nothing, you score an early goal, game's done. Because with Arsenal, how teams approach them and how I saw them all season, if you can sort of grind out the first 45, 60 minutes without Arsenal scoring, they'll have to push forward, and that's when their defence can be pulled apart. But if Arsenal can score a goal first in a game, I've got to get a stat up, but they probably have never lost a game from scoring first in a Premier League game this season. They've just been so good at the back. So the back is built. The keeper is built. The midfield looks really good. Maybe you add another midfielder to be available more in that number 6 mould, but you've got it all there. It's just time to put your head down and go once more. Have you got the ability to go again next season? I think they do. I think Arteta is just chomping at the bit to go again and start again and push Pep Guardiola once more. I feel like next season could be the year. There's not too many times if your teams win 4. First time in history, Man City won 4. But can they win 5? I just don't think they can. So Arsenal, position 1A to take it next season. That's what I've got them to do. I've given them, as I said, a season grade of an A. There's not much else they could have done other than for win an extra 2 points and win that Premier League title. It's been a fantastic year for Arsenal. A tick in Mikel Arteta's box, a tick in Arsenal's box for me. I know it's not a trophy. I know neutral fans and fans like myself, like Man United fans, will love to give Arsenal a stick, but they're moving in the right direction. As I said, they are position 1A next season to go and take that title off City, and I feel like the gap's going to get even bigger next season with City and Arsenal for the rest, as the rest are sort of rebuilding or rejigging and putting pieces together. It's going to be very, very dangerous to see how much they can boss this league around next season. Very excited for Arsenal fans. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. How have you seen Arsenal's season? I think it's been very, very impressive without having that trophy to show for it. It's almost been perfect in many regards. Let me know what you think, who's Arsenal's player of the season. Obviously, we've got more of these season recaps to go. So join the channel, subscribe to the channel for that as we push towards Euro content as well. Hit a like on this video if you enjoyed it. As I said, subscribe to the channel, press that post notification bell so you know we upload more videos like these and more analytical prediction videos, podcasts, all sitting here on the Players Own channel. And I'll see you guys in a video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.